name is Lida, and we're discussing the organizational structure of Pinstripes, which is where I've worked for the last 15 years. But first, I'm currently in the Northbrook, Illinois location, which was the first one ever, so let's go check it out. So that's probably the fastest venue tour I've ever done, but you at least get an idea of what the venue looks like. It's also important to know where Pinstripes is in its lifespan.
Pinstripes currently has 13 locations across the U.S. with plans to expand to 80 to 100 locations nationally and multiple overseas. So it is imperative that the organizational structure of the company is not only scalable, but also conducive to optimizing performance at each location.
Okay, so let's now get into the current organizational structure, which is the functional structure. This organizes chain of command by occupational function or departments.
So if we look at this diagram, Pinstripes currently has an executive team led by the Chief Executive Officer, or CEO, who oversees 6 main departments: front of house operations, back of house operations, sales, marketing, accounting, and maintenance. Each of these 6 departments has its own chief leader who is responsible for the productivity and execution of their own department. Employees at the location level are then organized within 5 departments who report up to each department's chief. The general manager oversees the front of house managers and employees. The executive chef oversees the back of house chefs and employees. The director of sales oversees the sales managers. And then the maintenance team and marketing coordinators do not have direct oversight by any manager at the location level, but report directly to their corresponding chief.
I enlisted a few key players at the Northbrook location to let us know what they currently do and how the functional structure plays out. Okay, so I have Ben here, who's the general manager of this location. Ben, how long have you been with the company?
I've been with the company 8 years.
Great. And what are the main functions that you do as a front of house manager?
I run service throughout the whole venue. Private events, open play, bowling, bocce.
The whole thing.
The whole thing.
And who do you currently report to, and who do you currently manage?
I currently report to Chris Sukup, our Chief Operating Officer, and I have a team of 4 managers below me.
I also have Michelle, who's the Director of Sales. Michelle, how long have you been with the company?
So I've been with Pinstripes since May, so about 5 months.
Okay. And what are the main functions that you do as a sales manager?
Sure. So as a sales manager here at Pinstripes, I'm responsible for selling all sorts of events, from our bowling, bocce, corporate events, social events such as weddings and mitzvahs, and a lot of showers.
Sounds good. And who do you currently report to, and who do you currently manage?
Sure. I report to Kelly Muscuri, who's our Chief Sales Officer, and I have 2 event managers and 1 catering manager in the department.
Thanks. I have Manny, who's the executive chef. How long have you been with the company?
I've been with the company about 12 years.
And what are the main functions that you do as a back of house chef?
We prep all the food for the whole restaurant, including events and catering.
Okay. And who do you currently report to, and who do you currently manage?
Right now, I report to the culinary of... Oh my God, I forgot.
Chief Culinary Officer.
I report to the Chief Culinary Officer, Cesar Gutierrez, and currently I manage 4 chefs and 20 line cooks.
Very good. My suggestion is to change the organization structure to a divisional structure. So now let's take a look at what that would look like.
So if we take a look at the second diagram, this illustrates the proposed change where the organization would be divided between regional teams based on their location instead of by functional role. The organization's executive level would be led by the Chief Operations Officer, who would work closely with all other chiefs to align on the brand's trajectory, standards, and strategy. The executive unit would work as one cohesive team to manage the location level leaders. The location level leaders would follow a similar formation where the general manager would lead and work closely with the executive chef and director of sales to set their location's goals and strategy to drive sales, profit, execution levels, and guest satisfaction together. The location's leaders would cohesively then manage the rest of the location level employees together.
So let's ask our key players on what they think. So Ben, if you were trying to improve the small wares expense, for example, who would you currently enlist?
I would choose one of my front of house managers to be in charge of that as far as the ordering and inventory and communication with the team to help drive that line.
Okay. So then, if we recruited someone from the back of house team, would that help at all in getting better results?
Most certainly would. The back of the house team touches small wares just as much as we do in the front of the house, and the more eyes and ears and hands-on taking inventory and taking care of the item would help drive that number.
Great. My third question, are there any company-wide initiatives that you would change or not do because of how it impacts your location?
There would be some, like example is marketing. Just some of our initiatives are just very broad, and if we got a little bit more store-specific example on like when I could do live music, things of that nature, I could probably drive sales a little bit better at a venue.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Michelle, if you were going to try to improve your sales team's lead conversion rates, who would you currently enlist?
Sure, if I wanted a higher lead conversion rate, I would definitely first enlist my team and have a great meeting and try to brainstorm how we can get that conversion rate up. Okay,
great. But if we recruited someone from the front of house team, would that help at all in getting better results?
Yeah, I think that if we got the front of the house team involved as far as maybe some sort of a lead incentive where they're servicing the guests, maybe they can ask them if they're planning on hosting any events, whether it's events in the house or catering events, and they can bring us those leads, and perhaps we could have some sort of an incentive program to incent them to really engage with the guests.
Perfect. Are there any company-wide initiatives that you would change or not do because of how it impacts your location?
I think I would look at how we are priced in the pricing tiers and perhaps putting us more in line with South Barrington instead of us being priced with River East and Chicago. I think our geographic location is more in line with South Barrington than those other two venues in the Chicago area.
Thank you. Manny, if you were going to try to improve your food costs through educating the sales team about how event sales impacts food cost expense, who would you currently enlist?
I will list my sous chefs and then the event sales team so they can understand about our food costs.
Okay, so then if we recruited someone from the sales team first to help you, would that help at all in getting better results?
It will help a lot because they will understand on how our food costs gets impact with the event sales.
Got it, thank you. And then, are there any company-wide initiatives that you would change or not do because of how it impacts your location?
Well, I would say the P&L budgets. Right now, the corporate does the budgets. If we do our own budgets, I feel like it will help us as a company.
Thank you so much. You can tell that from our key players' responses that if they were going to drive any improvement in their area, their first answer was always to enlist their own department's team first, instead of having a different mindset of utilizing other players that are in different departments to get better results. Also, from these responses, there is clearly room to decentralize initiatives so that they make more sense to each location, which would lead to more efficiency, higher sales, and lower expenses. These leaders already have opinions on what they would change, but the current organizational structure does not allow them to have a say in it. Well, I hope you enjoyed my video, and a big thanks to my Northbrook colleagues for helping me out. Thank you.